In this video, I'm going to explain why, so let's begin with the good impressions. Grand Asunción has an area of about 2,500 square kilometers, and the population of the metro is about 4 million, while the city of Asunción alone has about 500,000 inhabitants and the size of 117 square kilometers. My hometown, Davao City, Philippines, has an area of 2,444 square kilometers. Metro is about 4,000 square kilometers, and it has a population of about 2 million. Asunción is a dense city, so it's not everyone will like it. Only this city is developed. However, the cost of living is significantly higher than living in a small town. There are 2 guarded parks which are located along the roads. They are safe and clean. The first one, a small park, is Parque de la Salud, and it has 19 hectares and it requires you to show your valid ID at the entrance. There are lots of trees around and the playground has lots of shade, which is good. We often went there as it is close to Manora where we lived before. The other park is much bigger and it is Parque Noguayo. It has 65 hectares and it is a little more wild as we can see some animals. However, it has less shade as there's low density of trees there, especially in the playground area. But it is a little bit far away as it is located in Loki, and it takes about 15 minutes to get there by car. It is quite safe as there are policemen driving around the park, but they don't ask your ID at the entrances. We like to unwind in this park as it is more peaceful and has fewer people during the day. There's a nice white bridge crossing a small pond, and it is a good spot to have a picnic in the open air. Those parks are much crowded later at noon as local people like to go there after work. There are some cafes. We have been to a few good coffee shops around our neighborhood. Mostly they have a cozy atmosphere and vintage style. For having a cup of coffee with a light snack, it costs you about $6 per person, so it's rather affordable. They also have good bakeries if you know how to find them. We have been inquiring about some private kindergartens as they teach bilingual, English, Spanish. They offer 1 hour of English each day. If you are living around Villamora, the first cost of sending your child to a good quality private schools in an expensive neighborhood is about 1 million guarani of enrollment fee, and we need to count in the cost of some school supplies that are mandatory, which is about 600,000 guarani. Then you pay about 1,500,000 guarani per month for only 4 hours of class a day. So life is really hard living with small children in an apartment in such a big city. Even though you live on the base floor, if there's no piece of grassy backyard, it still feels like claustrophobic. And most of the time you're exposed to air conditioning. It is not good a situation for children to spend most of the day in a dropped apartment. That's why we thought of sending her to school, but later we decided to move to a small town as we couldn't find any adequate house in the city, and decided that we had enough of the noise and fumes of Asunción. And now we are not so interested in sending her to school as we are renting a small house with lots of greenery around to explore. There are lots of fancy restaurants in the Shopping del Sol and many expensive branded clothing items. However, there are no such good meals that would make us satisfied. If you want inexpensive clothes, you need to look outside the mall. I found a luxury pre-owned clothing shop, and they have a variety of women's clothes and all at decent prices. The Botanical Garden and Zoo in Asunción. It has an area of 110 hectares, and the number of animals is about 337, and the number of species 64. During our first visit, a lady warned us not to stray too much to the sides from the main path, as there was a suspicious man lurking. A few minutes' walk from the entrance to the park, there was an inner entrance to the zoo and a small fee to be paid. We spent about 3 hours inside and we enjoyed exploring around. There were some animals I have never seen before, and it was exciting to know them. The pecaries were really cute, and also my favorite one was capybara. There were lots of cicadas emerging from their shells and making loud sounds. I absolutely like the sound as I often heard it in anime. These are gonna be my most liked insects. Naturally, there were also familiar animals from abroad and some Paraguayan animals. There were parrots and birds of prey. The rest of the usual farm animals and some reptiles. Now, some of the worst impressions that I haven't yet mentioned in the previous video. We spent a little over 1 year in Asunción living in an apartment with a concrete patio in the Manora neighborhood. During the summer, the temperatures often hit 40 degrees Celsius and it feels like 46 degrees Celsius according to the apps. It was unbearable to walk around. Next, during the rainy season, the water stays in the middle of the road. Even though you live in a rich neighborhood, they really have bad quality streets and pavements. Another thing that left a bad impressions on us was when my husband turned before a red light and a police officer fined us. But of course the money went to his pocket. The fines in Paraguay are high and you have to haggle to get them to accept a lower amount. Lastly, it's necessary to have a car as it's convenient to drive around. There were some old buses that didn't care to keep their distance from us when we were crossing the road to La Feria shopping mall. The driver with his bus precariously slanted to the side almost hit us with my little car as I was holding her on the left hand. It seems like they don't care about car maintenance in Paraguay. So think about it before moving to Asunción.